I'm Elwirfy, and today we're going to be playing some more Napoleon Total War. And today we're going to be playing as the British Empire, Great Britain, and we're going to be allied here today with the French and the Portuguese. We're actually going to be fighting off the, there's going to be British here, we're going to have some French here, and we're actually going to have some Prussians over here. So it's going to be very intense battle today, as you can clearly tell. Right now, inside my army, I'm going to be bringing, oh, we're moving troops around. I'm going to be bringing a total of 5 light foot infantry. That's these guys right here with their very nice uniforms and such. I'm also going to be bringing some foot guards. I'm going to be bringing 4 foot guards of these incredibly elite troops. I really like them, so I brought as much as I could. And down here, I'm also going to be bringing over some Highland foot, which is going to be very useful as well, because these guys are also very strong units, and they're my second best unit that's affordable for me to get the infantry numbers that I need. I'm also going to be bringing some dragoons with me. I'm going to be bringing one of those, and I'm going to be bringing 2 King's German Legion. So that means I am going to be using some Germans in this battle, even though we're not German. Those guys are German, the Prussians. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit here, just so that way we can skip to the part where all the armies show up, so we can get this battle underway. I just wanted to play the opening area, so that way you could see what's coming out. So okay. As you can see, I immediately begin deploying my units forward in this kind of a formation, which I really enjoy. And then I misclick accidentally because my troops were moving. But don't worry, a little bit of a blunder isn't the end of the world. Over here, as you can see, my allies are moving forward together in unison in one long stretched out line. They have much more cavalry than I do, so I felt a little like, oh, maybe did I bring too many groups of infantry? But I find that having more infantry tends to be just more useful in general when compared to bringing a lot of cavalry. I've actually done a cavalry assault. I have a full cavalry army where there's no infantry or cannons at all. And I want to point out that there are no cannons in this battle as well, simply due to the fact that, well, artillery isn't very much enjoyed in multiplayer nowadays, which is fine with me. I don't really like artillery very much myself. Now, as you can see, I have the foot guard moving up to help support my light infantry. I'm going to be moving really close towards that. I'm going to turn this sound down a little bit. Well, I don't know. Nah, I'll keep it up for you guys. I'll keep it up, cranked up. All right. So as you can see, we got the Highland foot here, standing fairly close to the light infantry in case we get swarmed. Over here on the Prussian side, as you can see, they've deployed. They have some foot guards. They have 4 foot guards right here, backed up by 2 hussars and a lancer unit as kind of a side force. And then they also have their 5 Prussian fusiliers. The limit rules for this battle were 5 light infantry, so there's 5 light infantry for them. And then they have some very basic landwehrers and musketeers are going to be used as their more basic infantry. And they have a couple of other musketeers in the back here that are protecting their general. That's right there. There's their general, as you can see. And also there's some French units that are kind of moving up. Their voltigeurs. This is also a skirmisher unit, and they actually end up becoming hidden because of where they're standing in the trees. So standing in trees can't hide your units. It's very fun to do that. So I'm going to be advancing my lines forward. Again, I like to have long, stretched out, thin lines, so that way we have as many guns firing as possible, because I do end up accidentally crossing into the path of behind my French ally with some of these units, which isn't, it's not the end of the world. So got these nice, long, thick lines of light infantry. Now the light infantry, because they're in skirmisher mode, as you guys know, is they're going to be able to be shot through if the enemy tries to do any crazy advances. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to kind of wait for him. I have no reason to push forward. And as you can see, I even have this like angle going here, as you can see on the mini-map, in order to help kind of encompass and encourage the enemy to kind of funnel into this little bottleneck here. So I think that's going to be very useful. No shots have been fired as we go down the line. The British player over here, he's just moving up. He doesn't have as many light infantry. He has some rifles. 1 rifle unit, 2 rifle unit, 3 rifle units. Does he only have 3 rifles? It's never good to be low on your number of rifles. The French have 5 in their rifles. And this is actually going to be the closest unit, so let's check these guys out, these riflemen. They're very cool. I very much so enjoy the Voltigeurs for the French. Now, I want to point out though that the light infantry that I'm currently using, this is the formation I'm setting up in, the light infantry I'm using have 90 men. And what does that mean? Well, it essentially means that we're going to have more shots going at the enemy, but we're taking the sacrifice of not being able to put down stakes. Stakes are very useful when defending against cavalry charges, but if you know how to defend yourself properly, it works out. Now, I go ahead and do kind of a noob square tactic. It was a little bit of a unfortunate circumstance that I had to line up in a certain way, but I wanted to aid my French ally as well. So I have this small division over here that's committed to helping support my French ally, whereas my main army is going to go ahead and do the concave. Concaves are much more useful, and I didn't move forward quite right away because I wanted to have my line stretch out as thin as possible, even though I could have got a little more space. This is in fact the border of the map, so I was hugging the edge there. And I was moving my cavalry forward to line up so that way we can have the extra boost on this side, because this is where the main army of the French are. As you can see in the center of the battlefield, the French Voltigeurs are moving up. These guys kind of hang back. They don't really do much in the beginning. So that's why I'm focusing more on this end and more on my flank. And we're going to focus mainly on what I'm doing as the battle goes out, but just know that there is going to be a lot of killing all over the place. Again, this is the closest unit, so they're probably going to have the first line of engagement. As you can see, we're kind of, if you look on the minimap, we're making this like S shape to kind of match the lack of movement that the British are doing in order to almost 2v1, see this 2v1 situation. And again, I have my units over here to support just in case the French happen to need it. And the first shots are in fact going to be fired fairly soon, so that's always something that I like to see. All right. So these guys have deployed their stakes, and they're actually falling back a little bit, getting into their light formation, so that way start firing. The sound's a little glitchy in this game, so just kind of you got to be okay with that. The sound is not perfect. So they fired a volley, and now they're backing off. Got four kills here of these National Guards, the militia, the French militia. Very good units. As you can see, the more French militia here, kind of taking the brunt of the first volleys, which is very nice. The French do, in fact, have the first engagement. Okay, let's see these guys fire. Come on. Are they not in range? Oh, they're not in range. Well, these guys are firing. These guys are all kind of simultaneously firing as well, which is very, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. So as you can see, we have a light infantry battle. Oh, this isn't good at all. The French militia should not be standing in front of the light infantry. They could get shot in the back. That's actually very, very bad. We should not be doing that. As you can see, the French Voltigeurs are firing at the French Voltigeurs. Really just trading blows, getting some good shots off. Yeah, see this militia? That's going to get completely chewed up because it shouldn't be standing in front of light infantry. Now that as they're dying, sure, there's spaces being made, but that kind of defeats the purpose of what the light infantry was doing. There's a lot of smoke going off. The Prussians are aiding in attacking the French, which is not good at all. You know, very, very much so not good. And I noticed this, and I realized, hey, we need to support. So I have my British troops move up to aid in the French. So we're going to open fire on the French as well. We got that first volley off, which is very nice. And we're gonna keep firing at the French here. Well, we're gonna shoot at the Prussians. Actually, we're targeting the Prussians. So I got these guys in range. I snuck them in. I don't think the enemy even noticed that these guys were in range. But we're firing down at these guys, which is very, very nice because we haven't lost any troops yet. So we're getting those kind of free shots off against them, which is cool. As you can see in the center of the battle, the militia here got completely taken out. These light infantry are going to be supported by these Swiss foot. And The French are taking over. They're like, you know, we got this. You don't need to do anything. So then my light foot are seeing these Prussian Fusiliers getting awfully close, but we're not quite in range. Everyone's reloaded though, so that means I have a nice volley set up. But the French are pushing hard. They're really combining their lights and lining to really maximize the amount of damage they're doing, and it's wonderful. Look, it's working brilliantly. And these Prussian Fusiliers are firing on them, which sucks. I should have, if I was being a little bit nicer, I should have moved my entire lineup a little more. Oh, I gave an order. Yep. I move up. Oh, right. I move up my my Highland foot because I realize that these guys are going to be much stronger in fighting those light infantry. And then I move my light infantry forward, just kind of again helping to advance the my French ally. So we push them back. They're falling back. They're not going to be able to do much. So then it gives me the freedom to push up more Highland foot, getting good volleys off here. All of them reloading. So now we're in range. Now we're really picking them off. This light infantry is not going to have much of a chance since I'm helping out. There's, as you can see, there's smoke all over the place. This is what it's like to play on ultra graphics in this game. All right, they're reloading. They're getting ready. Come on. I want to get a good volley from these guys. I like these troops. So you see, these guys aren't even being fired upon because our enemy is so focused on killing the French. As you can see, there is a charge down there, but it'll quickly be dealt with. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty good. So the enemy, the Prussians are moving forward and advancing. And this is when I really decided to make sure my light infantry are getting their good shots off. As you can see, we're getting this conclave here of troops, you know, pushing up my Highland foot to help out, getting ready to just really make the most out of my men. And I even push these guys up right against the light infantry in the hopes that if they try and advance any amount to support them, that the Highland foot will be able to open fire. And I keep pushing on this flank because I know that if we can cut a hole in them, they won't have much of a chance. And as you can see, these guys are now opening fire as well. Very, very excellent strategy. And this is how you want to play it. If you're going to play Napoleon Total War, you need to be playing with this kind of a setup. Light infantry in the front, line infantry in the back, just giving good combined fire. That's going to be the most optimal way. Now, if you look on the mini-map, you can see I'm moving my forces up, but those guys won't really start engaging quite yet. This is the main engagement from my perspective of the battle. And as you can see, we are also routing their units because we have good combined fire. Again, I really like having these light foot. I've lost a single man. I've only lost one and two Highland foot. So not too bad. Not too bad. Getting some good shots off. As you can see, we are now moving up down here as we start to line up in the center. This is where the main engagement will be, and this is why I like having elite troops as support instead of just regular foot soldiers, because these guys will really beat them down if needed. And again, his light infantry is scattering all over the place. He doesn't have light infantry to match mine, which means that I'll be able to get better shots off. Now he is out of range right now, so anyone who needs to reload will reload. This is why he moved up and then he had to fall back. It's never a good sign. And then things kind of calm down here a little bit. But he is, in fact, repositioning, getting ready to fight me. These guys are just outside of range. If they move even a little too close, they'll be involved. And I accidentally got some Highland foot outside of the group. I don't know if it was on purpose or not. And then I remember I have these guys as well. So I ended up having some reserve Highland foot, which is totally fine. These foot guards are my best units in the game, so I was pretty darn confident that they could do it without the line infantry support. But if you want to look at where we're going, we're just lining up so that way we can plug any gaps as my troops may or may not fall. So I advance my whole army forward to just kind of line up with some of my own light infantry, and they're going to get ready to open fire in a second here, which is going to be great. Yeah. So they all open fire. on those light infantry. Getting some good hits. They're already getting fairly depleted, almost halfway depleted. And if they move too close, they're going to end up getting shot up by the line infantry, which is not something good. Now, I did have my line infantry a little back because I didn't really want them to get hurt too bad. But we're getting some good volleys off here, which is really key. So these light infantry fights are important. So see, this is why you keep them farther back, because less of these guys are going to get killed needlessly. Now I do decide to advance, and I charge my cavalry through, because I really want to disrupt the light infantry that they have right now. So they're going to go ahead and, so I'm going to go ahead and do a cavalry charge here with just one cav, not necessarily doing a ton. He's going to counter cav charge against me. We're going to square up, and I'm going to actually try and fall back my light infantry. So this was a big mess. This is where things got kind of nuts. So I have my foot guard in the correct formation, and I'm going to keep pounding. He's sending some cavalry over to reinforce his own cavalry right here. But as you can see, we're holding out against them, and I bring over some cavalry to countercharge their cav. And I'm also going to take advantage of these guys over here, try and disrupt their ranks. He does go into square, but I managed to get in there before he gets into square formation. And again, I make sure to keep having my lines constantly opening fire on the Prussians, and I do not ever remove these foot guards from square formation, as that'd be really bad. So seeing these guys are in square and that they're hurting my horses, I go ahead and charge at these light infantry to really kind of take them out. I ended up routing them, which is very good. I kind of fall these guys back and angle them in order to open fire on those horses, because those horses need to get gunned down really quickly. And then these horses over here, they're going to go ahead and charge these troops that are trying to move up to support as well. Now keeping in mind that I do have all these light infantry here firing as well. And again, these foot guards are just going to continue to open fire. And I'm fully prepared to jump into square formation if needed. But
our men are running for it.
But I am fairly confident in my ability to hold off the Prussians as needed. And then I do go ahead and jump back, get these wounded foot guards into a line formation to open fire on the Prussians, because I really want to make sure that I'm doing the most damage that I can here. And then with these horsemen, things get a little complicated for me because I'm trying to manage it. So I send in my cavalry charge, hoping he goes in a square, and if not, I'll just take him out. Then I bring in these reserve Highland foot. This is why you want to have reserves in the game if possible. So I bring over these Highland foot to go ahead and get lined up. And I'm totally prepared to send my Highland foot as a charge to battle. So I did lose a horseman unit right here, and it's going to be very close. He does charge in. I do jump them into melee mode just in case, which does end up helping a little bit, but this ends up being a really close engagement. I mean, look at how close these lines are. It's incredibly close. And as you can see, we have more Highland foot moving over. I'm bringing them over to support in this melee over here. Very excellent shots being fired. I love these British troops. They look amazing. Now these troops weren't actually firing. My light foot are still going strong here, trying to get the double team. Just mount them. As you can see, we have the foot guards fighting the Highland foot. The Highland foot are actually winning this engagement, so he's going to bring in some of his units, but he only has 35 men to bring in, and the morale is low. And these guys are, in fact, able to open fire.
Following orders,
but I'm going to go ahead and move them forward in order to change up my positioning, because these guys are charging into melee as aids. So I'm swapping out some regiments in order to get my Highland foots into the action. So these guys are going to open fire. They should anyway. Maybe they won't. Thought they would. Either way, so yeah, this melee engagement is getting ridiculous. Really trying to put on some pressure. Keep in mind, I don't have my general nearby. That was a mistake I made in this battle, is not having my general. And as you can see, we're still doing some light versus light skirmishing. So eventually, I do break that unit, a unit of the foot guards. Then it's just a 1 versus 2 melee. The general's coming over to try and inspire his troops to keep on fighting.
Our men are running for it.
I do end up losing a Highland foot unit. The Highland foot actually break before the foot guards. Foot guards being, again, incredibly elite troops. And this ends up being a really tough engagement. I'm trying to take out the foot guards. They have 27 men. And then he tries to charge at these the Highland foot. and I go into square formation so they can keep firing just in case, and also be very good in melee. So as my light foot are getting cut down and such, he decides to charge in with his foot guards, which ends up being kind of a bad idea because then all my foot guards just open fire and end up taking the unit out. They don't even get into melee. And now the Prussians are moving their musketeers over, trying to stem the loss of life, but then the general staff making a crazy attack. I don't know what they were thinking. Because, you know, I don't care. I'll happily kill the general. Because that wipes them out, and then as I'm chasing down the last of them, these guys are going to need to reform. So as you can see, he charged in here, and there's going to be a giant melee right here, which is really crazy, actually. I really like it. But, of course, the foot guards are incredibly strong, and they're easily going to wipe out the land bear very easily now. And then the musketeers are going to go ahead and fight the light foot, and I'm going to have all my light foot just charge into them and hold them off. These are going to maintain square formation. And then these guys are going to line up, and they're going to start trying to concave around the Prussians to make sure they're being as useful as possible. This side formation here has been doing a great job, still opening fire, still really taking out the Prussians, and then it becomes a matter of, hey, look at that. Look how the enemy totally got wiped out over here, and then this British army that was being slow is finally going to start getting enveloped, because I ended up wiping out the Prussians quite handily here, thanks to my elite troop choices, as well as tactical superiority in managing my cavalry and making sure to disrupt when the time was necessary. Because now, as you can see, I'm able to go ahead and just start moving around to help out with my French ally. I do want to make sure that, because there's 70 musketeers here, they would come back if I'm not careful, so that's why it is kind of important to make sure I get on the move. But then eventually these two almost fresh units, I mean, look, 109, 106, 81 out of 90, and 84 out of 90. These guys barely suffered any losses, and they've gotten an incredible amount of kills. An incredible amount of kills. But let's go ahead and check out my allies, see what's happening here. There is a French charge at the enemy general. I think it's gone pretty crazy. My Portuguese ally moving up is Cazadores. The Cazadores.
Glorious victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
Being really good light infantry are going to be engaging what's left of the British line. There's a square formation here because of the cavalry charge. I guess that makes sense, but these guys should really have been unsquared. So the Prussians are just, or sorry, the Portuguese are just, you know, gunning them down left and right. As you can see, combined fire from these infantry. Portugal actually just have troops called infantry. That's kind of cool. You know, they're starting to get around the backs of the British and make good use of their ability to concave. This is almost a fully healthy unit of Portuguese infantry that are going to be able to fire onto those 88-foot Carnaut Rangers. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen those before. Maybe they're just different kinds of units, but either way, not going to have much of a chance. See, they even shot them down to the point where they don't even have a flag. They're just done. They're breaking. They're all going to be falling back, and then this square even breaks, causing a mass rout. And that is, in fact, going to be the entirety of the battle. I was moving troops over to help, but unfortunately, that kind of a thing did not happen. So, I hope you all enjoyed this battle. Let's take a look at the stats. I got the second most kills with the second most amount of units deployed. So I was kind of in the middle, and I did lose the middle amount of losses. So I was just kind of in the middle of that. My French player, my pop, he able to kill 1,622 kills, the most kills for this entire battle, which was great. I want to point out that the Portuguese Asterix 3 and Alpha 77666 both equally deployed, 1698 units. Then I want to point out also that I only deployed 1,563 units, whereas my Prussian opponent, he deployed 1,803. Now he only killed 681 units, and I only lost 607. So that means all my losses came from the Prussians, and I was able to do a fairly good job. So let's take a look at the kills here. Who did the best? Well, some foot guards did good. The foot guards got 136 kills. Is 100? No, light foot 148. This is probably the yeah. This is a group that only lost 10. These guys did amazing, and overall my units did a good job. These Highland foot only killed 3. So sad. Although I think this was one of the reserve Highland foot that didn't do anything. Also the cameras being weird. So yeah, General Staff did nothing. That's fine. General Staff generally doesn't do anything when fighting. Some guys got promotions. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone. Asterisk 111, or I. Maybe that's a 1. I don't know. Asterisk 3, My Pop, Alpha 777666, Napoleon, and 123. Anyway, guys, I'm Elwirfy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.